Okay. And I looked at the time and said, "Oh my God!" Where before I was so nervous and stuff, so I did everything I needed to do, and I sat down earlier to look up for a prayer or a blessing to bring into the group. And what I started doing is I started with making my own prayer. So I guess I'm growing up, I'm learning, I'm expanding, I'm bringing in different energies. So I was like, I was just researching blessings, looking through paperwork, looking on the internet, and it just started coming to me. So I'm going to switch screens around so I can read what I wrote because I have to type it because if I don't, I'm so dyslexic, I won't be able to read what I wrote to. So I'm going to take a second and just center and get grounded. And I'm just so excited to see everybody. It just fills my heart and soul my longing is for the connection. And when we come into this setting, the connection, it settles in. So I'm just asking myself, all right, so I'm going to do the blessing, then we'll do the meditation, and then I'm just going to bring in some great healing energy. Hey. So the blessing I started with, or I'm coming up with, is Creator. We come to you this hour asking for your blessing, support, and love as I gathered here tonight to learn, to grow, and to heal. We pray for your guidance and support. As we ask that you would clearly show us how to walk with the Spirit, or the Spirit to bring us in more joy and let go of the pain in our lives that keep us stuck. Please hold us with the desire to find ways of letting go and what no longer serves us on our healing journey. Help us to see what we do not see, that we may find the peace and love we long for, so we may serve you in the world. Show us what we cannot see because our thoughts, beliefs, woundings, and our egos get in the way. Thank you for all the support and love you have generally given us, even when we did not see or feel it. Thank you for not giving up us on when we wanted to give up on ourselves and we could not see your light through all the darkness. Thank you for all the blessings and love that is here in this world for all of us that we never see or know. Thank you even for the pain and the sadness, because in those, the lessons we have learned in those hard times bring us closer to you, to ourselves, to our heart and our soul. Thank you so much for the gift of life. And thank you for holding us. Amen. I impressed myself with that one. So from here, I'm just going to go into the healing. And into the, slowing down, into the meditation of bringing the group together and letting go of all the craziness that went on today, this week, whatever, in your life and your space, and bring you back home to your heart and your soul. So if you're sitting, feet on the ground is a good way to start. And if you're lying, just fully feel the support of what you're lying on to hold you. Feel the chair, feel your butt in the chair, your legs, your feet on the ground, your back being supported by the chair, or if you're lying down by the bed. As I say every week, you cannot do this wrong. It's just a slowing down of your breath and being open for connection. Feel that amazing, beautiful heart you have. Oh my God. Feel those lungs as they take in that amazing breath. I can feel the synergy of the group connecting as we settle in. We're now connected. Feel the love. Feel the holding. Even the breath is a gift from Creator. Feel the juice. So I could sit in this for a while because it's amazing, but I do want to talk a little bit and move on with the healing. I have my window open and there's traffic. I don't know if that's too noisy, or if not, I'll just leave it open because it's like 79 degrees in this room right now. So I had a topic last week, but then I got off on lovable. And it just kept coming up about lovable, and that I wanted to stick with that. And what I came up with last week was the human condition, or is, if you're human, you're going to have pain in your life. Mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, sexual, moral. I don't know what it is. It's pain because the way we are set up is when we're in pain and we're struggling, we learn who we are, how we deal with it, and eventually we go through it because it is here to teach us. As my first teacher, Barbara Brennan, used to say, pain is your first sign of guidance. And what we do as humans is we poo-poo pain and the guidance, and I'm strong enough, it's okay, and went on. So I sat with pain for a while, and I love definition because I love the energy of words. As you all who have been with me a few times know that I'm curious about the words and the way they describe it. Like I say, between God and Google, you can find anything. So when I looked up pain, the definition, it can be mental. Remember, I'm a little dyslexic. Physical, emotional, a localized or general unpleasant bodily sensation, or complex sensations that cause mild to severe physical discomfort and emotional distress, and typically results in body disorder such as injury, disease, acute shooting pain, etc. It says it's an unpleasant sensation. I say that's minor. Unpleasant. It's extremely unpleasant. That can range from mild to agony. Pain has physical and emotional components. The physical part of pain results from nerve stimulation. Pain can be contained to discrete areas of injury, or it can be diffused. And what it talked about is, because I checked different things, is a number of studies have indicated stress can constrict the muscles in the nerve, causing physical pain. Stress, I don't know statistics, but used to be one of the biggest killers in the world was stress. I don't know anymore what is and stuff like that. The physical discomfort is because they say it's a signal to the brain that emotional trauma needs to be resolved. Emotional trauma needs to be resolved. That's out of stress to reduce tension and other issues affecting the nervous system. Emotional trauma. I love that they got it, because trauma is what happens to us in being human. It says pain can make you feel worse mentally, and the mind can cause pain without a physical source. Depression, sadness, grief, all those things. So pain is so universal through our mental, physical, and emotional bodies, it penetrates all of them. It's not just getting hit with a hammer or different things like that. And then if you have a pre-existing pain, what they talk about is it piles on itself, or piles up, and then it just grows it. So you can have stress, trauma, and then you start getting physically and things, and it's an energy field that becomes alive and literally feeds on itself. And one of the things I found that was, well, I guess it didn't surprise me. It says the National Institute of Health found that 25 million Americans report daily chronic pain. 25 million daily chronic pain. To me, that's unbelievably mind-blowing how much daily chronic pain people are in. And I know daily chronic pain very well. I deal with it myself. I deal with it with clients. And it's at about another 23 million or so, and I know these are just statistics, just numbers, complaining about severe pain. The United States spends billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to treat pain, and that doesn't even cover lost wages and the abuse that happens when someone's in pain, how they strike out and do damage to other people. And I think it was the statistic I found was in 2017, healthcare providers across the U.S. wrote more than 191 million prescriptions for opioid, whatever, pain medications. A rate of 58 or 59% of the prescriptions per 100 people. That's more than half. Almost 60% of the people are on pain meds. It's just sad because nobody wants pain, but they want to be out of pain rather than have to deal with it on a day-to-day way of being physically and emotionally. It's just exhausting. Truly, people commit suicide not to kill themselves, but to get out of pain. And when I step into that field, it's so big. that literally I stop breathing sometimes when I'm with somebody, the abuse that or what's going on physically or mentally that others have done with the other people, or even bigger, I would say, that we do to ourselves. Because I look at, if you're human, you're dealing with pain, period. Something. I have never met in all my years of doing this work anybody who is not in pain with something. And I truly believe, and I still sit with, this is the way we're made, or we choose to incarnate with Source to come in, being choose to incarnate into the world, even though we're born of beauty, sweetness, and innocence. We don't learn. And I truly believe we come into the world to learn, to grow, so our souls can, I don't know, get smarter. Don't have to come back again. I'm not sure. But it's, sometimes I sit there and wonder who constructed all this, so that's the way we do it. But it's, to me, I've come to peace with, this is the soul's journey. This is what we chose. Even if we don't understand why these horrible things happen or the pain we're in, it is part of the human condition. And it's also a teacher. So it's what I said in my prayer, my blessing earlier about pain. Pain has taught me so much about me, about being with it, dealing with it, and holding space for somebody who is in pain. It's one of the reasons that I really hate when I'm in pain, someone says, I'm sorry, I don't want to be pitied. Or if someone I have in pain, I have empathy for them and I could hold space for them. And usually sometimes the only thing, or not the only thing, one of the best things you can do is just sit there and be with them. Because sometimes with some energy, some physical pain or emotional, yeah, with hands-on healing and we can move it. But sometimes it's there for a reason that we'll never understand. I guess being human. It's and part of my training into learning to do with people or pain, because I used to, in the beginning, took it on. It was caretaking. I've talked about this. We want to take people's that we love's pain away so they're not in pain. And I was getting headaches and stomach aches, and I was getting sick a lot. And because I loved people so much, I wanted to remove the pain. But I realized I was taking it on and getting sick and headaches, and it wasn't honoring their journey of this is what they're supposed to do, or what their soul chose to be here till 12 or 15, or to have whatever is going on. So for me, I volunteered with hospice for a couple of years and was with people, had a month or two to live. And I knew my training was to learn and just sit and hold space for them, because this was their journey. So part of it is how hard is, I'm going to shift around because that's what I do. Is it for you to hold your pain and your sadness without going into collapse, without literally trying to avoid it, numb it, TV, food, alcohol, drugs, Are you willing to sit there and connect with it and see what it is that is stuck, or what the lesson is? That was part of my prayers. Help me see. Because in the beginning, when I used to be in pain, I used to pray, please take this pain away. Please remove this. Please, please, please. Or I beg or stop, or, you know what I mean? Negotiating, all the different tactics. And then eventually my prayers, other than when I pray for other people, because I truly believe in the power of prayer, my prayers moved up to help me see the lesson that I'm here to learn, so that I may grow inside and become closer to God or Creator. Because each time I do that, because I know I've said, and I'm going to repeat, joy is the most powerful energy. And if I look at what stops me from that energy field, it's going to be pain, physically, mentally, spiritually. There's something there to lessen. And when I learn it and retrieve that part of my soul I lost, and I come into myself, I become closer to spirit, which is all in here. I become closer to myself. And part of what I keep saying is we heal in connection. There's sometimes that I know I can't do this on my own. I reach out to other people, to my healer. I reach out for connection, because in connection, it's like when I talked about in the meditation, there's a synergy that shows up that we're connected. And then there's like literally, I almost feel like we start breathing and our heart starts beating together. That's why I love the meditation in a group. There's a synergy that's just so heart centering for me. I could literally sit here the whole evening and sit in that. But I'm not making the big bucks tonight to do that. So pain is as individual as you are. You know, and it's like even when you go to a doctor, they'll ask you on a scale from 1 to 10. What are you feeling? Well, I feel a 3 or I feel a 9. It's a way of describing it, but the pain is so unique that even if I've cut my hand and had stitches, I know that pain for me, that if I'm sitting with somebody who's had that, their pain or the way they deal with it is different than mine. So all I can do is hold compassion and space for them and say, my heart goes out to you. And I guess sometimes we can say, I know how you feel. And sometimes we don't know how the person feels. And that's part of not being heard or seen that we go into, is people don't see me or know. So pain is so unique that when I sit with the energy field, it's as unique as your core star, which is who you are in being incarnated into the earth. It is, when I sit with it, really, you can't have your core star, the joy, without the pain, because you can't have that light without the darkness. And that sometimes we get stuck in the darkness for a day, a week, a month, or years. But when we move through it, that light shines, that uniqueness, that your gifts will come up. And yes, I know somebody asked me a while ago if some people are more sensitive than other people. And I do what I usually do when someone asks me a question, as I slow down and check inside. And what I came up is, yes, some people are a little bit more sensitive, but I truly believe we were all born sensitive. And then we learned to numb it or cut it off so we didn't have to feel, because as a child or even as a baby or even in the womb, that was too much, that we learned to numb, not to feel. It's like usually when I work with families or something with kids, if there's one or two and things are alcoholic parents or all this pain or screaming, they'll either shut down, not talk, or they'll expand and be the rebel. So they deal with it, or we all deal with it in different ways. So I truly believe we are all sensitive, extremely, and then we numb it. I used to hate my sensitivity. I go to Target, the neon lights eventually gives me a headache. Or if I eat food that doesn't work for me, I get angry or my nose starts running. And I used to be hated being a sensitive child because I almost could feel or know things that I didn't want to take on, because the yelling, the screaming, or whatever was going on around was too much for my system. But my blessing is it turned out to be my biggest passion, as my sensitivity, which I hated growing up, allows me to connect with you, to have sessions, and I can tune in and read people because my sensitivity to their energy field and what's going on. Part of the human condition is to be in pain. Mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, sexual. It's all pain. And not one pain is worse than the other. Some is more harder for us to hold, as if sometimes somebody says, I'm getting a divorce, or I have cancer, or I'm dying, or when they share, or I'm married to an alcoholic, or people move away from them because they can't hold that in their field. And it's not that people aren't bad and wrong, but not everybody can hold the other person's pain or sadness because it's overwhelming for them. And one of the things that, it's like when I was looking up sayings and all the different things about pain, and I looked for the hand signs, and mine would have been just a hammer just going like this on my head. But I couldn't find one. I mean, it was a bunch of things that didn't work for me. but we all deal with it differently. And I truly don't believe that saying that time heals all pain. It just moves it to the background or the subconscious. It still runs your life day to day, even if it's not sitting in front of you. It's still there, of the pain of a heartbreak, the pain of loss, the pain of being, as a child, being told, no, you're not lovable. On some level, it's still there. It's part of our makeup. And I literally had somebody I was working with the other day, long distance in Hawaii, and she goes, now what do I do? How do I get rid of it? And I'm like, whoa. And I had to sit. I says, give me a few minutes, because I've learned my number 3, pause and take it in. And for me, a lot of the pain, a lot of the stuff goes on, cancer, some other things, physical on some level, not necessarily, but emotional, is going back and working with the wounded child. When did you start feeling that age? And a lot of time when I work with somebody, I go, what happened when you were 3 or 5? And let's bring in a different way of being with yourself, that you can let go of these subconscious or unconscious thoughts that run our lives. I'm telling you, it runs your life. It runs my life. It runs every life, everybody's lives. Even if you don't know it, it's there. And it, to this day, what happens sometimes in your 2, 3, even in utero, causes separation in who you are right now, in your connection with your kids, your people you meet. There's something there, there's part of you that keeps you removed because you protect it. Because if I open my heart, or I open it, no one's gonna hold that pain for us. And it was pretty interesting, because when I was sitting and thinking about pain, do you remember when when you're a child, if you got hurt, the first thing you did is you put your hand on it. You brought loving, compassionate energy to it. If you had a boo-boo, you ask your mommy to kiss it. Bringing love and compassion into the pain helps move that energy. It's like you could go in crying and it's all of a sudden just get a kiss, or you get a Band-Aid, and sometimes a Band-Aid doesn't do anything but just covers it. You feel better, because in the pain you're loved, held, or seen. That's why I keep saying, it's just energy. It's either flowing or not. And sometimes when you're in pain, or I wouldn't say sometimes, I believe fully, when you're in pain, it's stuck energy. And then if we find ways to move it, and sometimes I don't knock the medical community. There's things I believe in, sometimes I don't. Sometimes there is healing in the energy, and a lot of it, the pills are for numbing. I don't want to numb. I want to feel. I want to go through and work with what's going on, what's the cause, which goes to the childhood, their beliefs or images. It's one of the reasons that I know that breath is so important in the meditation. It's like it moves energy. It's even proven that if you do slow, deep breathing, it works with the, it's not the sciatica, the vagus nerve. Oh, my sciatica. Oh, no, it helps bring in energy, and it starts moving the energy field. So some people, fibromyalgia, people in chronic pain, it's an extra burden. Even added to it, everything gets blown up. And it's hard to be around sometimes people in pain, because there's almost a helpless feeling or helplessness about it. I remember once when Gabriella was, 3, 4 years old, she started crying, and I was exhausted, and I said, just stop crying. And she looked at me, and I knew I was like, had all my other stuff going on. And then I went in my room and I learned to calm down, breathe. I went out and I said, I'm sorry. I apologize. I says, it hurt me so much to see you in pain. There wasn't something I could do, that I just said, stop it. And I'm wondering how much of us, when we were children, parents just said, stop. So we went into our womb and shut down and didn't. And I'm telling you, I truly believe allowing that pain, that sadness, moving that energy will help. Help move that energy that's stuck. And there's part of the things I looked up is how to get rid of pain, and they had drugs and meds and things. But I was truly loved that they talked about relaxation, meditation, positive thinking, which I don't know about positive. It's still an energy field moving it, but other mind body techniques to reduce your need for pain or medication. It's, to me, if you went out every day to the ocean and you put your hand in the water and sat at the beach for 15, 20 minutes, it'll clean out your field, or go sit in the forest, in the woods. Nature is the most amazing healing energy. And even when I don't have time, a lot of times I have a chair on my porch. I just go sit outside. You know, it's a way of coming back to yourself. Some drugs work great at getting rid of pain, but they often have serious, unpleasant side effects. It was Oprah Winfrey who wrote that, turning your wounds and pain into wisdom. And that's exactly the way I feel. It's there. It's there to teach us. It's a lesson. And what Michael Singer says, I love his stuff. That's me, not the other Michael Singer. What is it, the lesson that your pain is trying to teach you? What is the lesson? And if you can't find it on your own, I'm telling you, reach out. Connect, ask for support, ask for love. I found one quote that I was surprised. Angelina Jolie said, "Without pain, there'd be no suffering. Without suffering, we would never learn from our mistakes. To make it right, pain and suffering is the key to all windows. Without it, there's no way of life." And I'm going, wow, that was pretty profound. And I know there's a Buddhist proverb out there. I'm going to run out of time. I want to do the healing. Pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. I'm still sitting with that one. I love Buddhist stuff, but I'm still sitting. It is because when I work with people, it's how do you sit with it and what do you be with it? So I truly believe that, but I'm still working on grasping that fully because I haven't hit that level. And someone else wrote, I can't even remember it. It was something to the effect of, God gave us pain to remind us we're alive so we can learn the values of joy and beauty in the world. So it is there for a reason. It is not enjoyable. I don't think I know anybody who's into it, but I also know when we learn and grow from it, the gifts are amazing. That's a lot. I don't know why when I sit with you guys, I almost feel like crying a lot. I get so emotional. I think it's the connection, the love, even when I'm talking about pain. So I'm going to bring out Kenny. And for some of you who are new, what I do is, instead of working on just sitting here moving my hands, working with energy, I use Kenny as a substitute to bring in what's going on with you. And then I work on Kenny with my hands on healing. You can say hi. Hi! Kenny is a good guy. He's a heart-centered guy. And I'm going to slow down. And as I say before every healing, may I be the highest guidance on your healing journey. And either speak it out loud or to yourself, what do you want to receive from this healing this evening? What guidance? What do you want to let go of? I know some people told me about some pain, some hip pain or gums or jaws or different thing going on, sciatic. Are you willing to let go of it and see what the lesson is? So turn off your cameras. Go lie down. Make yourself comfortable. When I'm done, I will let you know, and you're welcome just to roll over and turn off your computer and go to sleep. And I'm going to do my blessings, and then I'm going to turn on the music, and I'll let you know when I'm ready or I'm done. So I bring in the north and the south. I welcome in the east and the west. I welcome in Mother Earth and Father Sky to hold us on this healing journey. I welcome and honor each and every one of your guides and angels and ancestors. And I welcome my guides, my angels, and my ancestors. And I ask Creator, God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, to bless us on this healing journey. And thank you so deeply for the gifts we're about to receive. Amen. So thank you for joining me, for joining us. You're welcome to turn off your computer, roll over. Be gentle with yourself. The next day or two, things might come up since we moved a lot of energy. Feel free to reach out if you need any support. Drink plenty of water because the healing will continue for a few days. And I look forward to being with you next Sunday. Many blessings and much love on your healing journey. Amen.